Wait, they cost the same? Hey, what's up guys, it's TechZoomer talking to you here. And yes, the M3 MacBook Pro and my M1 Max MacBook Pro, the 16-inch MacBook Pro, they cost the same. That's crazy, I know. But these two MacBooks, they cost around $1,600. You can find the M3 MacBook Pro new on Apple for $1,500, and you can find this MacBook Pro, the 16-inch M1 Max chip computer, on eBay for about $1,500 to $1,600. So they do cost the same. Yes, the M1 Max, one of the most powerful M1 chips ever released. And the M3, the base spec M3 MacBook Pro, costs the same. Of course, one is new, one is not new, one is used from eBay. But you need to understand that these two computers, they are very, very different. Like, they have very similar things, but they are also very different in other ways. And in today's video, I want to tell you why you should not buy the M3 base model MacBook Pro, but instead go on eBay and buy these amazing 16-inch M1 Max computers. So if you are excited, drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel, roll the intro. So, like I was telling you, these machines, they only cost about $1,600, and this is the 16-inch version. If you are going to buy the 14-inch version, easily even less. And the base model M3 MacBook Pro 14-inch, yes, the 14-inch, costs you about the same price, and it's only a 14-inch display with only the base spec M3 chip. That chip is not as powerful as the M1 Max, trust me, and that computer is less powerful in general. It has less ports, it has less I/O, which is more important, especially that it's smaller, it has worse battery life, and yeah, it doesn't have any advantage over the M1 Max 16-inch computer. Maybe the only advantage is ray tracing, but again, the GPU performance here, the raw performance, is more powerful. So, at the end of the day, I do believe that the M1 Max MacBook Pro 16-inch is a great solution for those looking to buy the M3 base spec computer. And this video could end right here. But no, I want to compare these computers very, very deep so you can understand why I'm telling you this. As far as the design goes, the 16-inch MacBook Pro with the M1 Max chip was the first computer released with the new design from Apple. This was the first MacBook Pro to come out with this design, while the M2 Pro, M2 Max came out then and used the same design. Now, Apple trickled down this MacBook Pro design to the M3 generation, the base model M3. And it's a great computer, it's a great design, but it lacks some things. It has still the mini LED display. It still has the great design of the 16-inch and 14-inch computers with the M1 chip, but they lack ports, and that's the biggest thing. But in terms of the design, they're about the same. Maybe the extra USB-C port on the right side is a big deal for you because you want to charge from both sides. Me, personally, I do think it's a deal breaker. I love charging from the right or left side, and maybe having the HDMI and SD card slot is just enough for you, and the 14-inch is no issue. But in terms of the design, they are very, very similar, with the only difference being, with this same money you can get a 16-inch computer which has a bigger display and better battery, and at the end of the day a better cooling system, so it will be faster under more loads. You can buy that with the same amount of money you would buy the M3 14-inch computer. In terms of design, thickness, bulkiness, the 14-inch is smaller, less thick, not as bulky, less heavy, but it has a smaller display and a worse battery. You need to weigh out these things, which one of these sizes that you want. Do you want a 14-inch computer? Do you want a 16-inch computer? And if you want a 14-inch, still, I do believe that the M1 Max 14-inch version of this generation, so the smaller 14-inch version of this generation, it's even cheaper on eBay, and I do believe it's even more worth it than the M3 MacBook Pro. So in terms of design, whatever you choose, the 14-inch or the 16-inch, I've got you covered. I do believe that the eBay option is just better. These two machines are available in the same colors. The M3 MacBook Pro shares the same color options as this generation of MacBook Pro. The 14-inch and 16-inch options, they come in space gray or silver. Now, the most recent generations, the M3 Pro and the M3 Max, you can get it on space black, but the M1 Max generations, there's no options, and the M3 base model machine does not have that option. So, the same colors, there's no difference there. As for the displays, they are about the same. The same mini LED panel with 120Hz ProMotion technology. The only difference is the peak brightness on the 16-inch M1 Max version and the M3 MacBook Pro. The M3 MacBook Pro features the newer generation mini LED panel from Apple, so it's a bit brighter. At the end of the day, who cares? They are amazing displays, super color accurate, ProMotion capable, so they can change their refresh rate from 1 Hz to 120 Hz, saving on battery, And yeah, they are mini LED. The blacks are super black, super contrasty. The contrast ratio is really good. They look almost like an OLED display, but they are not. They use the same technology as LCD. Mini LED is an incredible technology. It can give you the same benefits of LCD technology and the OLED technology. It's a hybrid between those two. The OLEDs are better in my opinion, but they are more expensive. They have lower yields to put on a computer, on a laptop, and so it could make the MacBook more expensive, while the mini LED is easier to manufacture, is cheaper, and it can give you 85 to 80% of the same performance as an OLED display. Obviously, it does not look like an OLED display. OLED displays are much better, much more natural looking. The blacks, they are black, the display turns off, the pixels turns off, while the LCDs, they have the backlight behind them, and when you want to create black colors, you need to turn off certain parts of the backlight or dim some parts of the backlight. So the blacks are never black, they are almost always gray. So yeah, that's the difference between the mini LED, LCD and OLED displays. The difference between LCD and mini LED is just the number of dimming zones you have. On an LCD, you have one backlight, like on the back of the display. On mini LEDs, you have several ones, so you can turn off specific zones of those backlights. They are more useful, they can create more contrast ratio, and yeah, they don't burn in just like OLED displays, and that's an actual advantage over OLED displays and advantage that the LCD have, but the contrast ratio is not as good, and so you need to decide you want an OLED display, or if that, you need to go for Windows. Apple does not sell any type of MacBook. The M3, the M1 Max, they both share the same mini LED display with 120 Hz technology. They also have the same notch, the same bezels, everything is the same. This design is about the same. The M3, the M1 Max, they are the same design computer. So yeah, if you are paying for both computers the same, and you have the same design, you have the same speakers, the same trackpad, the same keyboard, they are both amazing, like both the best in the market, but still, they are the same. Why would you pay more for a less performing computer? The M1 Max is just more powerful. It performs better in almost every single task. The only task that the M3 is faster is on the single core performance because it has newer cores. But the M1 Max has so many more cores that on the multi-core performance is still faster, on the GPU performance is still faster, although the M3 has a very nice GPU, it cannot compete with the M1 Max. That's the truth. The M1 Max is a much bigger chip. It's more power hungry chip, but it's way more powerful. As for the M1 Pro, I'm not sure. That's why I'm only comparing it to the M1 Max. The M1 Max chip is definitely faster than the M3, not the M3 Pro, not the M3 Max. I want to make this clear, is faster than the M3, the base generation M3, and it costs the same on eBay. So if you are looking for the best deal for your buck, then the M1 Max MacBook Pro, whatever it is, the 14-inch, the 16-inch generation, used on eBay is the way better deal than the M3 base model. But again, they are both very similar computers. They have the same design, they have the same displays, they have the same batteries, they have the same keyboards, they have the same trackpads, the same speakers. The only difference is the actual chip. So if you value more the chip than the things of buying a new computer, then the M1 Max is definitely the computer for you. Do not buy the M3 Pro. But if you do value the guarantee of buying a new computer, if you do value Apple Care, if you do value buying a new computer for software support for 1 more year, then maybe you should go for the M3 and buy directly from Apple. That's something you need to decide. Do you feel more comfortable buying used? Do you feel more comfortable buying new? At the end of the day, that's the difference. If you are comfortable buying used, then obviously you should buy the M1 Max chip. If you like gaming, if you like 3D rendering, video editing, photo editing, the M1 Max is faster in all of the things. If you just browse the web, if you just do single tasks on your computer, very quick and bursty tasks on your computer, maybe the M3 will be faster. That's a maybe. As for the size of the display, should you go for the 14-inch? Should you go for the 16-inch? That's a very personal choice. I do prefer the 16-inch display. I think it's more comfortable to use, bigger, and at the end of the day, it's better for your eyes. It does not strain your eyes as much, and having a bigger display to look at, especially this one, this is amazing, it's always very good. As for the 14-inch size, you have a less bulkier and lighter computer. So if you want a more portable machine, definitely the 14-inch. I have some experiences, some fun experiences with the 16-inch computer. When I go into flights, the most fun thing is that this computer does not fit on the tray of the flight, of the plane, so you cannot use it. It can stick out like half of the computer, while the 14-inch is totally fine. It's about the same size as an iPad Pro with a Magic Keyboard, maybe a bit bigger, but it totally fits on those tray tables at the plane. The 16-inch does not fit, especially on those very small ones. So yeah, if there's something that you do a lot and you use this computer a lot, take that in mind. The 16-inch computer is big, very, very big. But with that comes way better battery life under very low, heavy loads, like if you are video editing. This machine gives you insane battery without plugging it in. That's the best part of Apple Silicon. While the 14-inch will drain a bit faster, and also comes the bigger 16-inch display, which is better for, in general, looking at things, working, video editing. It's just better to have a bigger display. So let me know in the comments below, which computer would you buy? The M3 MacBook Pro base model, not the M3 Pro, not the M3 Max, just the base model M3 computer for about $1,500, or would you go for the same priced machine, $1,500, for the M1 Max computer? 32, 64 gigabytes of RAM, does not matter. Which one of these computers would you buy? Oh, and now I forgot to talk about this. Now that I've talked about RAM, the M1 Max computer, you can buy it for around $1,500 that I was talking about. This machine comes with 32 gigabytes of RAM, minimum. Yes, that's the beauty of the M1 Max machines. They came with 32 gigabytes of RAM, minimum. You could upgrade for 64, you don't really need it, but you could buy a 16-inch computer with 32 gigabytes of RAM. The base model M3 only comes with 8. And although Apple Silicon RAM, so unified RAM, is very efficient, 8 gigabytes is kind of janky for the future. While 32, you will never have a problem with this. Trust me, if you have 32 gigabytes of RAM on your machine, you can run virtual machines, you can run virtual machine games, x86 games that are like 2 layers of translation, 1 layer for Windows to Mac and 1 layer for ARM to x86. Totally fine. This consumes a lot of RAM, but it's totally fine. You have 32 gigabytes of RAM. You can have thousands of tabs of Chrome open. It's ridiculous. 32 gigabytes of RAM on an Apple Silicon machine is overkill. While 8 gigabytes, 4 times less, is kind of risking it. In the next 2-3 years, it might be obsolete. So that's something you need to decide. Again, I do believe that's a point that gets it closer to the M1 Max. I think I cannot recommend the M3 base model for most people. I think that buying an M1 Max, if you are comfortable buying used computers, is such a better deal than buying a new M3 MacBook Pro. Unless you're going to Amazon, unless you're going to Apple and buy it refurbished, or at least discounted on Amazon. You can find it lower prices than that. But for the same prices, the M3 is just not worth it. The M1 Max machine was so powerful. You get the updates for Final Cut Pro. If you do like Final Cut Pro, Final Cut Pro has launched an update, the latest update, where it supported the M1 Max machine in terms of hardware acceleration. So the videos export much faster and they are much better to edit on. So the M1 Max is such a powerful machine, such a powerful chip, that Apple will still treat it as one of those. But if you do get the M3, that's a consumer class chip. And Apple treats those differently than the Pro class chips. So again, let me know in the comments below what you think. Drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for watching. Bye-bye.